Meditation and mindfulness are not woo-woo. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 126 of our Supersize You annual challenge. And today we're talking about, as part of our focus on mental health and well-being this month, meditation and mindfulness. Now, if you would have asked me 20 years ago if I meditated, I would have laughed in your face. I had no idea what meditation even was. I mean, I honestly don't think that I did. Nowadays, I meditate every day. I do hypnosis. I do a bunch of different techniques that feel good to me because they help me be a better version of myself. And that's what this challenge is all about. How do we find tools, tips, tricks, strategies, techniques, books, anything, people that have done something before us that we can learn from to make us a better human being? Well, today, day 126 of our Supersize Challenge is all about meditation and mindfulness. Now, I will admit, I probably never heard of it because it wasn't on my radar. And it wasn't until I started to explore different facets of who I am, what I stand for, what my purpose is, what the heck I even want to accomplish in my life, which was a little later in life. I just was running through the motions and just doing all the things that I thought that I should do in order to create the life that I want. And it actually wasn't until I had a sudden cardiac arrest at 50, lucky enough to still be here because the vast majority of people that happens to, I think the statistics are like 93% of people it happens to don't survive. They die from that. And I died for a little while, got frozen and brought back, and had an ICD put in. It's kind of like my own little insurance policy. But even before then, I had been curious and started exploring things. I'm like, there's got to be more to life than me just running through my life, running through every single day, stressed out, frazzled, everything's an emergency. And I discovered things like The Secret, and I discovered things like Louise Hay, and I started listening to different tapes and things and modalities even before my cardiac arrest. And I think that's part of why I'm still here, to be honest. So meditation is just, to me, focusing on the present moment, breathing and being in the now, paying attention to what's actually going on around us. It doesn't have to be a big in-depth practice. You don't have to follow someone else's big in-depth practice. It's just you being quiet and silent with yourself. I think one of my favorite meditations I actually just learned recently is called the silent meditation, where you just sit in silence for a couple of minutes. And every time your mind wanders, you just bring it back to focusing on your breath and bring it back to focusing on your breath. I'm up to 7 minutes. I'm pretty excited because it used to be I couldn't even get through a minute when my mind wouldn't be off in 1,000 different directions. But what it does is it trains our brain to think for ourselves. Now, I talk about this a lot, the importance of thinking for ourselves and being our own person and choosing what is right for us, knowing what our personal line in the sand is. And we don't go below that. We don't let other people go below our boundaries and line in the sand. 5 to 10 minutes daily practice is probably optimal. So if you're out there saying, I don't have time for this, I'm too busy, guess what? I don't think anybody was busier than me when I started meditating. But it was like, even if I just sat in the car for 5 minutes quietly while I waited to pick up my kids in high school, that is kind of how it started. I started a little bit at a time. And then it grew into the practices that I have today for like my morning routines, my evening routines, the things I do during the day. And that's what you have to do too. You have to determine what works for you. Everybody will tell you and try to sell you their thing. But guess what? It might not work for you. You have to pick and choose using your intuition. And you tap into your intuition by being present and mindful, aka meditating. So 5 to 10 minutes a day. Mindfulness is just awareness of the present moment. It's like, what's going on? What's really, really going on? Not just outside of me, but what's really, really going on inside of me. I will be the second to admit, besides mindfulness and meditation, being aware of how things play out in my body, clueless. Absolutely clueless until after my sudden cardiac arrest, when I went on a learning journey to figure out what the F had happened to me. Because prior to that, WTF was my primary question. Well, if WTF is your primary question, what are you doing? You're setting yourself up for failure and frustration all the time, because my definition of frustration, also a problem I discovered by thinking about it and looking within, was anything that didn't go exactly as I expected was frustrating to me. Holy buckets. When you become aware of some of these things, you just like shake your head and like, what on earth made me ever actually conclude that or think that? Total lies that we tell ourselves with respect to our thoughts and our beliefs and things we adopt as real and factual in our life are absolutely just crap we make up or we lock onto and we decide, okay, that will sounds reasonable. Therefore, that's my new belief. Scary, right? Or if something significantly emotional happens to us, we lock into and choose a bunch of beliefs associated with that. So I challenge you today. I challenge you to commit to yourself. You don't have to commit to me. That for the next 7 days, you're going to set a timer for 5 minutes, sometime during the day. I don't care when or where. Just find a quiet place where you won't be interrupted and just focus on your breathing for 5 minutes. And then report after the week. How did it make you feel? I guarantee if you've never done it before, the first 3 days for sure are going to be a struggle. You're going to be beating yourself up and saying, why can't I focus? Why can't I pay attention to my breath? Why can't I quiet my mind? We can't quiet our mind because our minds are going a million miles an hour. Most of us, or maybe that's just my brain. I don't know. But most of us have very active minds and imaginations. So it is hard. It's a challenge to do anything new, right? But it's a challenge to be present and quiet our mind. I like to go sit on the park bench out by my house. There's a park not about a block away. And I like to go to an overlook of the river. It's a beautiful scene. There's benches up there. I like to sit on a bench and just be present. So that's what I do. But you figure out what works for you. Maybe you go hide in the bathroom for 5 minutes, right? I have been known to do that too, just to get a little peace of mind. But that's it. I'm not going to ask anything hard. I guess I would be curious. What is your resistance to mindfulness and meditation, if you have one? Otherwise, if you're a meditator and you meditate every day, just put that in the comments below so other people see it isn't just me. And then share in the comments. Do you meditate? And if so, has it helped you and how it's helped you? That would be a very valuable share in the comments below. All right, that's all I've got today. I was going to talk about the lifeline exercise or something, but I think this is enough. I think that, especially if it's a new topic to you, I mean, when it was a new topic to me, I was like, oh my God, how come I have never heard of this? That was my first thought. How come nobody ever told me this or taught me this? Well, I didn't come from a family of meditators. I'll just put it that way. All right. Have an awesome day. If you have any questions about this, if you want any recommendations about what I've done and things I've done, I'm actually in a meditation, hypnosis, manifestation community on the school platform that I just love because it adds some structure to it. Honestly, a little bit too much structure. And I pick and choose, like we all need to, the things that work for me and fit into my lifestyle and my personality. And I leave the rest because we get to do all of that. It's our life. All right. Have an awesome day. And I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.